Well, all right.
Welcome. Hi, Vlad.
Welcome, everybody.
Hello, everyone.
Hey, guys. Boy, do we have an exciting episode for you guys. We are right from the heart of the Klipsch Lifestyle Division. We are announcing and talking about the Klipsch T5 II ANC earphones, both the standard edition and the McLaren special edition today. We're going to get inside these headphones and talk about what makes them tick, what's really cool about them, some amazing features, and we've got some surprise guests today. So a lot happening.
Yes, we do.
And yeah, to start a lot to get into.
Yep.
And it's been a while.
Vlad,
it's been a while since we talked about any headphones. Mark, I'm going to interrupt you every time you try to talk. I told you we were going to put you on the 400-meter hurdles team.
Interrupt this.
Well,
okay.
I think that's appropriate.
Did that sound come through?
It did. It's happy hour. What are you drinking, Mark?
Actually, Vlad's going to get lots of airtime today. So this is a funny one. Cigar City Brewing. I don't know if you can. Florida Man. It's a double IPA, and I'm still a little bit in summer vacation mentality, even though we've been back from our vacation for weeks now. But this is the funny, the Florida Man joke about, if there's a funny headline, it's some guy in Florida doing something crazy. But Caleb, what's it, Dressel, the swimmer who got the gold medals. He's a Florida guy, and he hits the drums for therapy. And he said, "I'm a Florida man." It was very funny watching the Olympics and hearing how he does his therapy, with swimming. But he, this is like, here's to you, Florida man, Caleb Dressel, the swimmer. Anyway, that's it for me.
Oh, fantastic. Well, I, as always, am drinking red wine in a metal cup.
Okay.
Delicious. And Mr. Grodzinskiy, what are you drinking?
Well, so the last time I was on, I had a little bit of a beer snafu because I think I had 2 cans of beer and both of them exploded on me, causing no permanent damage to my MacBook. But
I remember that.
We'll see. So we're gonna see what happens now. We'll see if we get the mic to catch it.
What is that? It looks like a top of a Miller Lite bottle. What's happening?
Hey, you know what? No disrespect. This is Stella Artois Solstice Lager, and in part because it's a European beer, and we've got a couple of European guests on our show, and it seems like we've got some folks in Italy and so on. But it's summery and refreshing, and I thought it was very appropriate for this show. Take that.
Cheers. That's awesome. Cheers, guys.
Virtual cheers, everyone.
Yeah,
the graphic artist in me loves the single color pad print on that bottle.
Yes, I thought it was beautiful too. It's kind of bad when you start purchasing beer based on how attractive the typeface is on the front of it. But it's okay. It's okay.
We are already. Yeah, go ahead, Mark. Sorry.
I was going to say, welcome to our friend from Sweden, and we've got a lot of people joining in. Everybody, hopefully you have a refreshing beverage to enjoy during this hour, and we are going to have some cool giveaways. We have a lot of great content to discuss, and because it's a time pressure cooker, we don't want to go on too long with some of the silliness, but we just want everyone to know it is happy hour. Enjoy this. It's lighthearted. It's meant to be informative and fun as well. And then if your questions, Brittany, our power behind the scenes is, looking at the questions and guiding us and all that. So without any further ado, let's move into the next step.
Yep, absolutely. And I do want to announce before we get started that we have some giveaways today. We've got 2 very cool giveaways. One, we're going to be giving away the T5 II True Wireless ANC that we're going to be talking about today. Mm-hmm. Yep. And we're also going to be giving away the McLaren Special Edition version of that. And you've got both of them handy. Oh, yeah. Look at that. Props and everything.
I do. It's so much nicer when the product is actually small. If it was speakers, I'd have to be doing a lot of like pivoting and moving cameras around, and it's kind of a hard sell, right? And this room isn't exactly too big, even though it has a nice reference Premiere home theater system in it. But even though the product is small, it's actually quite big in the things that we've accomplished, a lot of firsts. Without further ado, I know we always talk about speakers and Dolby Atmos and sometimes even sound bars, but this is probably the first listening lounge where it's the smallest product yet. So T5 ANC, a set of wireless earphones. Hit it.
Whoa, lots to unpack there. There's lots going on in that.
I think the video did it perfectly. I think we can all just continue drinking beers and start
we're
fielding
done.
questions. Let's
Well
go.
done. Well done. Bring on our special guest. That's beautiful. Vlad. I love it. Like,
Exactly.
concise like that.
But if we do I want to give the floor to Vlad and just kind of talk a minute about what excites you about these earphones, what's cool about them as senior product manager, and really sort of the behind the product itself. You've had a hand in every level of the development of this product. So let's talk a little bit about what you love and what you think is really cool about this.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, as you know, Klipsch is a hardware company, right? Most of the time we're delivering speakers, but really we're delivering experiences, right? And it's music experiences, it's movie experiences, it's everything in between. And you know, once you step out of speakers and you get into headphones, the experiences are quite more vast. Now it's conference calls and being on the move and portability and being places, but you still have to deliver this awesome music and movie experience. So I think T5 ANC for us was this perfect merger between hardware and software that just gets out of the way and does what you want it to do. So we have a couple of things that help us, and therefore sneak peek of some of our special guests that we'll have here. We have a product that does specifically three things that are different than anybody else. The first one is our dual microphone active noise canceling combined with our oval ear tips. The second is the Bragi operating system. First time an artificial intelligence kind of powered operating system is loaded on a set of earphones. And then last but most definitely not least, helping our core foundational principle is Dirac HD sound, and Dirac HD sound enhancing the audio experience no matter what kind of content you feed it, whether it's lossless content or lossy content, or it's a YouTube video, or it's music from Apple Music, Spotify, Deezer, Pandora, you name it. Whatever the content source is, no matter what, the product sounds better. T5 ANC sounds better. So those are really kind of the three pillars. Great active noise canceling, a frictionless experience powered by head gestures and Bragi OS. And I know I'm kind of going all over the place. And last but not least, Dirac HD sound. So it does a little bit of everything.
And I have to say, Matt, that you know, I've tested a lot of products over the years, and I have told Vlad unequivocally, these things, They don't sound like any in-ears I've ever listened to before. And I've listened to a bunch. You know, I have my favorites. But this is what I described to Vlad when I heard these things, okay? And I've got mine close to me here. They're always charged up and ready to go. And you guys know how particular I am. And this is pretty much the only comment really I'm going to make about the sound quality, because it is about the sound quality. Now, we have a lot of fantastic technology and wizardry in these things. But when I am serious about listening to music, you guys know me, I want floor standers and I'm going to want a sub or two. But the thing is, I want the bottom, I want the low frequency extension, effortless and super extended. I want the dynamic range virtually unlimited. And when I put these in, and I've got Dirac on, I've got everything loaded and, you know, properly sealed, which is another advantage of our headphones. The seal is unbeatable. The comfort is unbeatable. You get all this extra stuff going on. And these things sound like floor standers with a sub. They give that richness and that power and that effortlessness. And I'm just like, finally, I've got that right here. And it's intimate. It's right here. And it's private. And I can enjoy, and I listen hours on end to my music. And it's 3 a.m. I'm like, holy crap, I got to go to sleep. And, you know, they're still going. The batteries are still going. And I'm just, it's like the concert in my head that we've advertised, you know, the concert in your cranium. And it's legit. The sound quality is, it will be my first and last love of this product. But we're here to talk about all the other super cool stuff these do. But I have to just say, check mark, sound quality is unbelievable. It's fantastic. And I can't give it a higher endorsement than for all of you that know me and how absolutely persnickety I am and hard to please, you know, in general. But about audio too.
Well, let's address those points. Vlad, let's look at those 3 points that you said. First, you're talking about 2 microphone ANC, right? Even a step back from that, if I might throw this out there, when you talk about true wireless, for people who may be a newbie, not even knowing what true wireless is, I will tell you, you know, normally I have a wired bud in my ear all the time because I'm a very analog person, the 2-channel mixing studio, all that stuff. But I've been using these. Not only have I been falling asleep with these in my ears, but also yesterday I mowed the yard with them in, and because of the seal and the ANC, I only had to have the volume on 50%. So that's a new thing for me, not the cutting of the cord part of it. You know, I've made that transition. But yeah, talk a little bit about that if you can.
Yeah. So noise canceling and true wireless. So first, true wireless earphones. Very simply, there are 2 separate little earphones that both connect to your phone. Music is streamed to both of them simultaneously, left and right, stereo. Great, you know, and there's actually a lot that goes on behind the scenes to get the ergonomic fit in your ears really well sealed, so to speak, and very comfortable for extended periods of time. And I'm not talking about, you know, 30 minutes. I think most true wireless earphones, after 30 minutes, you're kind of like, I'm done with these. My ears hurt. We're going for, you know, 4 to 5 hour sessions because these earphones live in your ears most of the time now. Like I said, you know, you might have a 5.1 system, which I think everybody deserves to experience from Klipsch. But for the times when you're not in front of it, that's when we have this T5 ANC portable product. And I see you've got a screen up with a breakdown of the entire inside. So that drives me to talk about some of the other features. So top right, that signal boost exterior antenna. We're one of the only companies that did what smartphones did like 6-7 years ago, which is move the antenna from the inside of the product to the outside. Gives you way better 360-degree coverage. And that's like bare bones, what you need to make this product have really good connectivity, function well, seamlessly and frictionlessly in any environment. Next is clear voice chat. Between 2 headphones, you actually have 6 microphones. And it's not so easy to understand why would a tiny thing this big have that many microphones, but they all serve their own purpose. So we use 2 microphones simultaneously to create a beamforming algorithm and recognize where your mouth is. So we can block out outside noises really well. when you're talking on the phone. Then 2 microphones are also used for active noise canceling. So active noise canceling can be done with just 1 microphone that faces the outside of the world. And how it works is actually quite simple. It listens to everything that's going on around you. Then it basically creates what is the equivalent of a photo negative, but with audio. So it takes that sound wave, flips it upside down, and injects it into your ear at the same time that that exterior sound is coming in. And basically, you know, in this instance, 1 + 1 = 0. So when you have a wave that goes like this and a wave that goes like this, they cancel each other out. And it's actually canceling that sound pressure. So what Matt, you were saying was 50% volume is enough to listen to audio with active noise canceling on while you're mowing the lawn. And that's actually perfect because we can protect your hearing. We can expose you to really the best a music track has to offer, because everywhere really above like mid-range and high frequencies, when you plug your ears, that stuff goes away anyway. And when you play music over top of it, you're typically crowding out that frequency range in general. But low frequencies, which I know is near and dear to Mark's heart, is an area where you want detail, articulation, volume, and specifically with earphones, mechanically is basically impossible to achieve because their frequency response curve, all in all, if you start boosting the bass, it starts bleeding into the mid-range. So with Dirac HD sound, we're actually able to make that curve look like a loudspeaker curve and sound like a loudspeaker curve. And with active noise cancellation, we're able to suck out the outside world in those same exact frequencies. So you can now hear the difference between a kick drum and a bass guitar.
And the seal, I'm going to interrupt you real quick, but the seal also that you get from the ear tip allows you to complete that cycle. So we're talking about a mechanical noise canceling and also an electronic noise canceling that's happening. So
yeah, I mean, you've been to a concert and you've used noise earplugs. So
right.
You plug your ears and all of a sudden that sound changes, right? You can't hear the cymbals and hi-hats. The snare drum is getting a little muddy. Vocals are still there, but like the bass guitar and all of the bass is still coming through into your ears no matter what. So that's why, you know, you combine active noise canceling and then you combine an earplug and you get a basically flat frequency response that's 25, 30, 35 decibels quieter than ambient. And you can be out there and everything sounds natural, just turned down quite a bit.
And then the bass extends and all that. And a good question that I've seen in the chat though is, you know, what if I'm on a bicycle and I want to hear what's happening outside of there? The idea of transparency.
Yes. So the other part of it is transparency mode. And you turn on transparency mode and it does a really good job of simply mimicking what the microphone is hearing, the outside world. And it's independent from right ear or left ear. So you'll actually, you know, if there's a car coming by on the right-hand side, you'll hear it on the right-hand side. And it feels very, very natural.
Awesome.
And for everybody that's wondering how easy it is to engage, you just tap that left earbud and you can cycle through and get it where you need it real quick. So it's super easy to engage. And it's 420, I believe. What's happening at 420, gents?
At 420, we have a special guest. I'd like to announce a special guest, actually. Yes. We'll have Vlad make the announcement. Who's with us today?
Yes, to go deeper into audio quality and the perfect marriage of hardware and software is joining us today, Matthias Johansson, the Chief Product Officer at Dirac.
Welcome, Matthias.
Matthias.
Hi, guys.
We're giving you a round of applause.
Wow, thank you for joining us.
Thrilled. I'm flattered.
That's yes, fantastic. Thank you for joining us. And I think you and I have had our fair share of discussions and conversations about really the areas where we were surprised we were sort of able to help each other. And in a sense, what I mean by that is, I think the platform that we gave Dirac was already very good in the sense that we know a few things about making drivers and making earphones, and the tolerance specifications that we have at the factory keep the product really, really consistent. So it gave, I think, Matthias a pretty good test bed of, oh, well, if we make these changes, then for every product that comes off of the production line, it's going to sound really good. So first and foremost, I think question-wise for Matthias is, what is Dirac HD sound? For most people that don't know.
Yeah, so Dirac HD sound, it's about optimizing the sound performance at your ears. Now you've built, like you said, you gave us a great foundation. We then worked together with software and hardware to create this amazing sound experience. And what we do is we measure the whole system, all these different components that make up this tiny, intricate, complex thing that you've built with this earphone. We measure the whole system acoustically in a number of different ways, really high resolution measurements. Based on that, we can create, because we get like an acoustical fingerprint. It's a little bit like going to, getting your eyes tested and getting a perfectly matched pair of glasses for your eyes. And that's what we do with the sound signal or the audio signal, so that we optimize it entirely to this particular headphone. And like you said, Vlad, the key here is that you have a very solid foundation with very strong, very small variations, so high tolerances, because otherwise we can only do very sort of not so detailed corrections, because this is about correcting stuff. When you build a system like this, and you're expecting, like Mark wants this thundering bass, the high precision sound dynamics details and so on, that's going to be hard in a very tiny device like an earphone. It's extremely challenging. And what we were really impressed by with this product is the consistency and the baseline. It sounds great even without Dirac, I must admit. But I also think that the topping of the ice is really to get this optimization where everything sort of falls into place. And we call that frequency response correction. Yeah.
And, as great as we can get these things to sound without Dirac HD sound, we kind of ran into a problem. So halfway in the development process, we started doing what we do, which is modifying the driver, putting things in front of the driver in order to make it naturally sound as good as it possibly can. And we worked with Matthias, and the team at Dirac was happy and still could optimize the performance even more. It was all, unfortunately, then down to active noise canceling performance. Apparently, you need very different things to happen in order to get good sound quality as opposed to good noise canceling. So combining Dirac HD sound let us use with our earphones, allowed us to use a smaller driver, not mess with it in a lot of great ways, and maximize both ANC performance and sound quality and deliver that in one full package. So I think, part of what I kind of preach with this product is the integration, right? You're using your loudspeakers sitting on the floor for listening to music and movies, and content is relatively consistent. With a set of true wireless earphones, you're taking calls and you're walking around and you're going into airports and on airplanes, and you want a great experience for all of those things. And now we have a product that has to have great active noise canceling and great audio quality. When have we ever had a speaker that, had to play music well but swim as well?
And that's a really good point, Vlad. I want to make, Matthias. I'm, as a 2-channel analog purist, I was initially skeptical with Dirac and just thinking about, well, now we're going to be processing the sound and doing different things and all of that, but also the compromise that you have to make by having something that's this small that fits inside your ear versus a full sound system. There, everything's a compromise. So how do you make that work? So I was a little skeptical when I turned on Dirac for the first time, because I was like, what could it possibly add to the experience? And then suddenly it had that piece of the image and that piece of the frequency response that brought everything into clarity, like you said, a good pair of glasses did. And it made me feel like these tiny little headphones were doing what my great big cans could do, just because, you know, you're engineering the heck out of them. You're trying to make them work as hard as they can because they are so small. But I was very, very impressed with the overall Dirac sound. And now when I turn it off, I can immediately notice, and I'm like, oh, yeah, regrettable. Turn it back on.
Break the switch. Break the switch. You know, I say this, Matthias, to our team. Yeah, the Dirac switch in the app, break it. You know, if there's no way to physically break an electronic switch, but this is one you want to break. Put it in on and leave it there forever. And you know, Matt, it's interesting you took that perspective. I took a little different perspective. Dirac's reputation is fantastic in the marketplace, and I'm a home theater enthusiast. You know, you can see from all this stuff in here. I also am a 2-channel snob, but I can flip the hat pretty quickly. And I will say that what won me over was Dirac HD sound. I was like, oh, HD sound, you know, HD sound. I'm always preaching HD streaming, you know, our friends at Qobuz, and everybody just take note, future sessions, we're going to give away some Qobuz memberships along with product. I just talked to Dave Solomon today. Dave, if you're listening, I did it. I said it. So, but the point is HD sound. I'm in, you know, I was like, HD sound. Well, let's hear this. Oh my gosh. You know, so I was like, break the switch. And Vlad, didn't I tell you that early on?
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm seeing a bunch of questions in the chat. One was, hey, did we describe Dirac? Yes, we did. It is sound processing that is on the software side to make our earphones sound better and still give us great active noise canceling. Another key question that I saw bouncing around was, do these things work with Klipsch Connect and can I adjust them? Yes, these are probably, this is the most, I would say, full-featured product we've ever launched with Klipsch Connect. There's a lot of fine-tuning adjustments that you can get into. And in a few minutes, we'll talk about some of those things because they're kind of out of this world. On the audio side, I think it's also important to note that Dirac HD sound does not preclude you from doing custom EQ on your earphones. So with our 6 presets that we've created with bass and treble and vocal and podcast and rock, I think being one of them, outside of flat, or what we would interpret as flat in a room, you've got 6 bands of equalization that are locked into existing frequencies and give you 6 decibels up and down. So essentially 12 decibels of adjustment to really customize the sound however you want. I prefer going with click a preset or tap a preset rather. If you like the sound of it, but you wish it was a little different, start there, make adjustments, and you've got custom EQ.
And Matthias, I have to say this real quick. You know, with the equalization, you know, usually I go with just flat, natural. I want to hear it. And then, you know, if you've got some tracks that are kind of maybe older recordings or MP3 files where they need a little help, okay, EQ might help you a little bit here and there. But Dirac makes it sound great. And it's fantastic. And, you know, earlier you guys were saying, all these things combined, you know, it really is, and I hate to use, this is a cliche today, but it really is synergistic. All these things combine to deliver a sound experience that you're like, wow. Somebody asked in the questions real quick, they said, does ANC affect audio quality? And what's interesting is when I'm toggling these buttons, I'm like, okay, the transparency, ANC, I've already got Dirac engaged. But when I click ANC, it doesn't degrade sound quality. You might think maybe you lose some highs or something about clarity. No, absolutely not. All you do is you lose the noise in the background, clutter, and it just lets you focus in even more on your beautiful music or your conversation on the phone. It is one of the most audiophile, transparent products I've come across in a long time, especially for in-ears, that when the technology absolutely serves the quality of sound.
Yeah, absolutely. I have one more question for Matthias before we move on topic wise. What is your impression, and were you pleased with the final product of the T5 II ANC.
Very much so. I don't know if you heard, but Dirac as a company, we just placed a big order because everybody at the company wants a pair for to use privately. I think that says it all, right? We're extremely pleased, and it was a great collaboration. Like Vlad said, I think it was a great journey together here. How we improved the overall product together, and made it. That's why we call it HD sound. Like you said, Mark, it's because it's about the sound that you hear. That's what needs to be high def. And I think the overall combination of all these different things that have been done in this product is awesome. It's truly an amazing product. So congratulations to the entire team.
Fantastic. And thank you so much for joining us today. Vlad, we have to move on. We have another special guest in the green room waiting to join us. Would you like to introduce?
Yes. Thank you again, Matthias. I appreciate hearing from you and seeing you as always. I know it's evening time over in Europe, so have a glass of whatever your preference, and we will move on to our next country. I think the next guest is Nikolai Weed, which is the CEO of Bragi and responsible for the Bragi operating system, amongst many things. And he is joining us from, should be at the moment, Munich, Germany. It looks really dark in Munich.
Well, I hope you can see me.
You went
no video yet.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing in Germany. We're not really good with technology.
Oh, that's funny. Yeah.
Give me a second. I'll be right back.
Awesome. Yeah, it was working earlier, so we might have to join you back in. But this is actually a perfect segue for me to introduce what is Bragi OS and why we chose to use it and what it does for us. Oh, well, that was really fast. So I guess I'm answering Nikolai's question for him. Awesome. Welcome back. So we talked to Nikolai a few years ago, and his something that he offered was really great. You guys be the hardware company that you are, and we'll be the software company that makes this operating system that runs everything behind the scenes. And I think the story was really simple. The experience that you have with earphones where you have to push a button and do a thing, and you've only got 2 buttons, and they're kind of pre-configured to do what they're supposed to do, and you're kind of stuck at that point. Well, we flip that all on its head and make the earphones work for you. And then he showed me a bunch of charts, and those charts had artificial intelligence on them and sample groups. It was like 20 minutes into a statistics class, at which point I realized, okay, maybe we should probably talk a little further about what this actually does for consumer audio or consumer products. So, like I said, welcome Nikolai Weed from Munich, Germany, and Bragi.
Well, thank you very much. Well, I'm sitting in actually very dark Germany. It is like super dark, incredible. But I'm seeing the light here today with your presentation. You're doing it awesomely. Also, hello to everyone who's on the call out there.
Cheers to you, Nikolai.
Cheers to you. I really believe not just in great audio, but also great user experiences. The ability to have a product that delights you and keeps doing what you'd like to do. And that's really the foundation part of Bragi. We want to make products that take the friction away from using it while you can enjoy listening to music. So we have embodied a range of sensors into the Klipsch T5 ANC that does this exactly for us, but the sensors are not enough. The sensors are also being analyzed by artificial intelligence running on the headphone. It's quite a bit of a technological marvel. We have like tiny brains that are made on this on chips inside the product that analyze movements and other things, sounds and all kinds of other fun stuff to make your life easier as a user. To make a long technology story short, what we're really up to is, someone's giving a call, I like to accept it, I don't want to take out my phone, so I just nod and pick up the call. Of course, this can be disabled, but it really makes life easier. But it's also about many other small things that you might not see in everyday life, but that makes everything easier as it was before. Like if you get a phone call, it doesn't really feel nice to have ANC on. As nice as it is when you're sitting in a plane, if you're having a call, it feels kind of weird being enclosed. So we have these automation steps where you can enable transparency, hear what's around you while you're on the call. And Andrew, it will block out your wife snoring unless it's really loud. So it's not about doing a little bit of everything, or it's about doing things that just make your day easier and better.
You know, I really enjoyed the idea of simplicity through simple gestures. One of the things that Mark and I talk a lot about is, you know, the biggest barrier to any new technology is really learning the interface. If you get a new car and it's a different brand and suddenly all your buttons are in a different place, or Photoshop upgrades or whatever it is, there's always the learning of the new interface. What I found with both the T5 II ANC native controls, you know, and the Bragi system as well, was being able to easily adapt to what needed to happen for that. Mark was talking earlier about the 1, 2, 3 touch on the ears to cycle through the different functions, but also with this system as well. Once you get used to doing that, and it's very quick, the adaptation of the onboarding into learning, we're used to nodding our head yes or no anyway, and all of that. So I think that feels very natural to me, and it didn't take very long to get into it. It was, you know, after maybe a day of using it, it was just like you know, like second nature.
Yeah, and I think what we found actually, even between the three of us, Mark, Matt, myself, is everyone has their own preferences, right? Not everybody wants to nod and shake their head to accept phone calls, but a good amount of people do, because your hands are full, and it's actually a really convenient thing to do instead of staring at your phone and pushing a button and figuring out what's going on. And this kind of software fusion that's happening right now, iOS will even announce who's calling or what's going on. There's like a series of notifications that you get through your ears directly. So it's getting closer and closer to just a really seamless experience. And I think one key question that people asked is, hey, can we update these things to keep them relevant? Oh, yeah. And that was one real and main thing that really was in the proposal from Bragi and Nikolai is, you know, Android, you know, iOS. Well, it is a big chunk of what makes your Android or iOS device actually do what it's supposed to do. I mean, otherwise, it's basically a dumb brick with really high-end components inside of it. It's got a battery, it's got a screen, but everything that you see in all of those interactions that you love come from that marriage of hardware and software. So
it's how we beta tested.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. Absolutely. They are upgradable, and they will continue to be upgraded. So, and not only with bug fixes, which is typically what you see out of televisions, for example, and interacting with other devices, but with actual features. So the device itself, the hardware, is going to grow with you once the Bragi operating system continues to evolve and more features come to light and more compatibility exists and more fun things that you can do. So yeah, right now through the app, you can configure things like sidekicks, which do things automatically. And you can configure equalizers, and you can hear your voice because of voice awareness. And there's a neat feature called noise shield. When you're using transparency and something loud happens, it'll mute for a second to keep your hearing from getting damaged, or any kind of weird feedback sounds from happening, like a gust of wind while you're outside.
Yeah, some people asked about these protecting their ears. Absolutely. I saw something about a TIG welder and high frequency. And yes, I mean, this is a barrier to you and your outside world. How much you let in of the outside world is at your disposal. You can let transparency. I mean, all these things are to aid you in your protecting your ears and then letting you listen to your content. But I have to say this, Nikolai. I look forward to, based on what Vlad just said about maybe iOS devices, I have an iPhone, announcing who's calling a telemarketer and me just going like this immediately, goodbye, because I'm sorry, but they found me. Okay. And I bet they found all of you too, so it's like, don't even need to say, hell no, just a head nod, The only thing is, I hope it does, Vlad, I joke about this a lot, it's like, I'm animated during phone calls anyway, as long as it doesn't cut off the phone call when I'm just like shaking my head, because that happens a lot.
Yeah.
All right, moving right along.
I have two quick questions for Nikolai, if I could. One, what is your favorite gesture? And two, do you foresee in the future people being able to customize their gestures based on things that they know that they will do?
So my favorite gesture is the yes face, like it's nodding, right? It's accepting things. But sadly, it's not that on the Klipsch T5 because that's my shaking. So I'm listening to Spotify, and when a song is starting that I don't like, I just shake it, and it moves on to the next song. And so most of the times when I'm actually doing something, it's not nodding, it's shaking, even though I prefer saying yes.
That's funny. That's funny. And I maybe there's some other people out there like me, and I think this feature is designed for Nikolai and I. You go to your starred music in Spotify and you hit shuffle and just play. And that is like the perfect use for shaking your head in order to skip tracks. You immediately know, like, oh man, I remember it was like that one afternoon I listened to this song and thought it was really great at the time. And every time it comes on, nope, I'm done within the first few seconds. So yeah, I agree with you, Nikolai.
Sadly for me, it's always Alice in Chains. I know that someone won't like it, but when I get Alice in Chains on my Spotify, I'm just not for me today.
Fine. I do not skip Alice in Chains songs. Absolutely not.
What about the customization?
When I get onto Tool or things like that, or Nirvana, like I'm a 90s guy.
What about the idea of creating custom gestures? Do you see that happening eventually in the development of the software?
I see us definitely adding more gestures. Like the brilliant thing about the Klipsch and Bragi OS is it's upgradable. We think that a product deserves a long lifetime. You buy a product that you love, you buy a product that you want to keep to use, and just because the world around you evolves should also mean that you should be evolving with it. So the basic principle is that you'll keep seeing things happening to your T5. Like earlier in the comments, I think it was Pablo asking for head gestures to toggle ANC on off. I love that idea. So dang, Kowalski, sorry about Alice in Chains. I know that it is. Well, anyways.
I'm with Don. I'm 100%.
That's
Don.
hilarious.
How dare you?
We can't please everybody.
Yeah.
I mean,
there's always going to be somebody. And I want to thank Nikolai for joining us. Thank you so much for giving everybody just a little insight to the months and months of technological advancements and discovery that went into working with us at Klipsch to create these headphones. Guys, in the last 15 minutes, we have to talk about apps and McLaren, so we better move on a little bit.
Yeah. Thank you again, Nikolai. I know it's late at night there, and we will talk soon, of course.
Next time, I'll have a German beer to salute you with.
Yeah, exactly.
Sounds awesome.
Great talking to
you.
Thank you.
Thanks so much.
Bye-bye.
Yeah, we do have to talk about the Klipsch Connect app, don't we?
Yep.
So, Klipsch Connect, what does it give you access to? What can you do? First, a world-class onboarding experience with T5 ANC. You can actually hear the difference between Dirac HD sound on, Dirac HD sound off. We added a little looping music loop in there so you can actually hear the difference. And it's quite eye-opening. Now, Dirac HD sound is on by default. So if you never want to interact with another app in your life, I don't blame you. And these earphones will do everything you expect them to without having to dive into the app. Okay. But after the Dirac HD sound portion of the onboarding experience, you'll get a first glimpse of some of the things that you can configure. And we put a couple of them in the forefront. Sidekicks, which is a feature of Bragi OS that is basically automations. The AI can do things when things happen. There's two of them currently. One of them is to turn on active noise canceling mode when listening to music, and also automatically turn on transparency mode when music is paused. And what that does for you, and I think there was a question where people were asking whether, how do I turn on ANC and transparency, and is it easy to interact with the product? Well, this is a perfect example of where you literally don't have to interact with it anymore, because ANC is on while you're listening to music, and it's on transparency mode when you're not. And when the second interaction is being able to turn on transparency mode automatically with phone calls. And with that comes another little feature in the background, which is called voice awareness. So what it does is it hears your voice, pipes it back into your ears. You no longer sound like you're underwater. So combine those two features together, and you kind of have an earphone where you can pick up phone calls, you can play music, you can skip tracks, you can go back a track, and that's really all you ever have to worry about. Then after that, you're into the app, right? And within Klipsch Connect, you can go back into these interactions and configure them however you want. You can also configure head moves. So head moves is another feature that you have to enable, because we want you to understand that you've actively chosen to do this. I don't want somebody that accidentally shakes their head and it hangs up on mom, and we get a bad customer service complaint call from mom, and somebody says, oh, I just got these new headphones, and like that, my dog ate my homework. They hung up on my mom.
Some might call that a feature. Be careful.
Yes, possibly. Yeah, but if my mom is listening, I would never do that. I only nod when.
No,
when
none of
mom
us.
calls.
No, we wouldn't.
So as you're talking about the app a little bit, and what's available in the app, there's a lot of controls, and the app is, again, it's a living, breathing thing. We're constantly updating, we're constantly adding things to it. And I found that one day a feature will just show up because I've got auto update on my apps. But a couple of things. Will some of the app goodness trickle down to the T5 II or the T5 II Sport?
In a way, yes. So a lot of app enhancements that we make to the app itself, like I don't want to reveal any of them immediately and right now, but there's a lot that's going on in the underpinnings of the app. So the app itself will continue to grow and get better and offer better features, whether it's push notifications or more above and beyond. However, it's not like we'll be able to put active noise canceling into an earphone that doesn't have it. So that's kind of where the line is drawn. We can continually make EQ improvements and can grow a better way to interact with the product, whether it's customization of the EQs. Can we go higher or lower? Firmware updates, which are already available, that improve the user experience. But it's not like we can bring hardware-specific features that require sensors. For example, we have a 6-axis gyroscope that is able to detect, your head position in an X, Y, and Z environment. Well, we can't give you that with T5 Gen 2 because the hardware is simply not there. But anything that doesn't require hardware, then it's a matter of the trickle-down effect. And that is absolutely something that we intend on doing, because we have a large customer base that's using the product. Thousands and thousands of people that are on T5 Gen 2 and are using the Klipsch Connect app, most of them having great experiences. And we need to stay in touch with those customers. I mean, we are a company that is referred to as an heirloom company. So with that being said, we absolutely do our best staying on top of platforms and new technology, but like a set of Lascalas or heresies where, 20 years later, you can still find a tweeter, a woofer, or somebody to help you. We're always there to do the same. And the Klipsch Connect app is the extension of that. and it's going to continue to grow into a better interaction with the customers that own our products, because most of us are sitting with these devices in front of us at all times, and that's how we prefer to interact with people.
By the way, the reason I'm wearing this shirt is because this is on the back of the shirt that Matt is wearing. So I had to flip it around. But, you know, everything that Paul stood for, you know, is pervasive in our company and applies to exactly what Vlad is delivering here. And I think one of the most powerful things is, yes, I love dynamic range. I love bass. I get pegged as the bass head, but no, I like full frequency response. And what blows me away about these is the lack of distortion. And, you know, distortion can be interpreted as many things that detract from the musical experience or your phone call or your movie. And that's called your external environment too, you know, and this takes it to another level. Oscar, if you're watching, it takes it to the HNL, whole another level. Okay. I hope he's watching. But anyway, you know, this takes your external environment out of the equation. So it removes those forms of distortion that, you know, loudspeakers can't do that, you know, but these things can. These are just a marvel of wizardry for audio files, or just people who love music.
If you're talking about, and to that point,
or love their iPhone or their Android. I mean, they love their phone, but this takes it to a great expanded universe.
To that point, Mark, I think it's really important to understand that, you know, what we're really talking about with active noise canceling and the seal that you get with these and all the stuff that happens, the passive noise canceling as well, is you're talking about lowering the noise floor. And lowering the noise floor always brings clarity. It always brings efficiency. It always brings, you know, you don't have to fight so many things to get great sound. I do want to divert real quick. Vlad, I got 2 lightning round questions for you, and then we got to talk about McLaren.
Let's do it.
How many ear tips come in the box?
6. 6. Small plus, medium plus, large plus. Half sizes did an awesome job of fitting more people. I was always a medium for over 10 years. Now medium plus, apparently. My ears have gotten bigger. Creates a better seal. It's great. So typical small, medium, large, we've thrown in half sizes in between.
And if you've got 2 different ears sizes, that's always very helpful to dial in exactly very specifically.
You will find with our earphones, because of the oval ear tip, it fits in the ear more comfortably. So you will notice that, oh, maybe one ear is a little smaller or bigger than the rest.
Once you experiment and find those, I think it's fantastic. Okay, so talk a little bit about battery life. What is the battery life again for these?
5 hours with ANC on, up to 7 hours with ANC off. We specifically left you to have the ability to have ANC off, because a lot of other earphones simply go with active noise canceling and transparency mode. And the reason they do that is because the difference between ANC and transparency is so dramatic, nobody would ever ask whether ANC is working. The caveat of that is, if I'm sitting at home and it's a quiet environment, I just want to listen to music for 6.5 hours. I can't do that with those earphones. So with ours, you can. Or you could be somebody that says, hey, I'm going to use these things 1 or 2 hours at a time maximum. I'm going to turn on all the automatic stuff and let them do what they need to do.
And talking about the case, how much charge is in the case? Because the case will charge the buds.
Yeah, the case will give you 3 full charges, so up to 21 hours more, I want to say. So if you combine them all together, which a lot of companies like to do, it's 28 hours. If with ANC on, and we're talking about 5 hours of in the earphones and another 15 hours in the case, you get up to 20. So they still have quite a bit of juice left to get you through a couple of days of really heavy usage. But your mileage may vary, so keep in mind, if you're on phone calls 8 hours a day, that'll burn through battery very, very quickly.
Yeah, I have to tell you, I love the inductive charging, because I've got this little Belkin pad for my iPhone, and just, you know, yesterday, Vlad, I went whoop. And then I was like,
that's actually a good point. We didn't even talk about that.
Because, you know, the USB-C, you know, you got to get it in there and you can do it. That's okay. But to just drop it on a charging pad is so convenient. I love it.
And that's a really good springboard effect. Yeah, you can see the charging pad. I like your focus. That's pretty cool.
Thank you. Yeah, so you can see that T5 Gen 2, we still stuck with a metal case, but we put a little rubber pad at the bottom of it. That rubber pad is where the wireless charging happens. So
how long does it take to charge?
It takes about the same amount of time to charge wired and wireless if you're using our wireless charging pad.
USB-C, yeah.
Yeah, so it takes about 2 hours-ish to charge both the earphones and the case itself. But 5-minute charge gives you about 80 minutes worth of music, so an hour and a half.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, so they charge up really, really quickly. Reason why is these Bluetooth chips, they are so energy efficient that even a little bit of juice gets you a really long time of actual playback. So, and we're doing it without damaging the battery. We're not doing some like super fast, let's get this thing really, really hot charging method. So this battery will last a long time and not degrade. It'll charge up quickly.
So let's pivot while we can. We've got some time. We've got to talk about McLaren, and we've got a really cool video I wanted to show you guys. A partnership with McLaren is a technological partnership. We're learning from them. They're learning from us. I want to show the video and then have Vlad describe this product because it's a little bit different than the T5 II ANC. Has all of the features and more. And it also comes with the charging pad that we want to talk about. So, Britt, can you roll that video and just talk about that partnership a little bit?
All right, rock and roll. Yes, this is an awesome partnership, and it is a technology partnership. And very quickly, I'll show you the metal case that comes with T5 ANC. So really robust, really hefty. It has good hand feel. Might not be everybody's flavor. You know, they want the lightest product you could possibly ever have, and for that, there's the McLaren edition. So the McLaren edition case, you will notice, actually uses carbon fiber. Carbon fiber makes the case over 40% lighter than the gunmetal metallic version. It's also quite durable. And it has this intermediate F1 racing pattern to sort of pay an homage to a tire that was actually used last weekend, where you really don't know what's going to happen. It's okay in the wet, it's okay in the dry, it's a little bit of everything. So
that's a tire tread around the edge. Yes.
So around the perimeter, and kind of nice effect to it has a little bit of a grippy feel. So it's not it's not silicon, so it's not sticky, doesn't collect lint, but it has a little bit of softness to it, and it does a good job staying in your hands in adverse conditions. So,
and it's considerably lighter than this version, than the regular T5 ANC, which has a Zippo-like heft to the case.
Yes.
That's carbon fiber, so that's going to be extremely light.
Yeah, it's incredibly light. It's very nice to have in the hand. And with T5 ANC coming in at $299, for an additional $50, you get the McLaren edition. But with $50, we're not just giving you orange colors and a little bit of carbon fiber that goes in your pocket.
Papaya.
Yes, you get a little bit of papaya. We also give you a 2-position wireless charging pad. So 2-position wireless charging pads are a bit more expensive in the market, definitely worth the $50. Why a 2-position wireless charging pad, you might ask, as opposed to something with 1 position? Well, on one side, you charge your phone. So smartphone goes nay. And on the other side, you charge the earphones because they've got Qi wireless charging built in. And we actually...
His and hers.
What's that?
His and hers.
Yes, exactly. That's possible too. But
and just to clarify, the headphones themselves, the case is also USB-C if you want to plug it in directly.
Yeah. Okay. So on the back of the case, you can see it's got a little USB-C connector. So hunky-dory, you can still charge it from your MacBook in a pinch. No problem.
Cool.
But the wireless charging portion of it, we actually worked with yet another company that specializes in wireless charging called New Current. And they helped us really bring it home. So what I mean by that is we made one specific side of the charging pad to work great with the wireless charging case. So what we did is matched up the charging case with the charging pad, combined together. Their coils line up perfectly. They're super high efficiency, and this thing charges basically as fast as plugging it into a wall. I know that one super annoying thing with wireless charging is oftentimes it's nowhere near as fast as you can charge it by a wire.
So let's say you've got no juice at all in your case or your headphones. How long do you got to put it on the pad to get going again?
No juice in the earbuds and in the case. Approximately 2 hours, and you're 0 to 100 essentially. Wow. But you'll get a lot in a short period of time. So charging and wireless charging included, you get the most amount of charging right at the beginning, and then it slows down as a safety precaution.
Gotcha.
Very cool. Same sound, McLaren versus the Klipsch version. My response to all of that badassery is, here's our buff driver, Lando Norris, who's currently third or fourth in the championship in F1.
He's crushing it.
He's totally crushing it. And look how much more buff he looks than last year. I love the fact that he's like bulking up. We got
a little bromance for Lando. I think every weekend, when with the exception of this last one where he got knocked out by Valtteri Bottas, he has been doing spectacular, driving his pants off. I mean, there's nobody better that I see on the track right now.
It's been fun to watch, the F1 Drive to Survive. You get the backstory when he's a rookie, and then his next year, and now this year. I mean, talk about progress. It's been exciting to watch the McLaren team just kick it. It's been great.
Yeah, they've been doing, and they're a great partner to work with. Just the visibility and their fans are as passionate as the Klipsch fans. I think that's really important to note. They do a great job of supporting us, and I love watching the races and qualifying and seeing the little Klipsch logo on the side of the headphones in the pits and stuff. That's so cool.
Yeah, and it's helped us from a technology perspective too. So this partnership is something that we signed on for several years. And as we get deeper and deeper, we learn more about the carbon composite materials and their benefits. And we have access directly into the race team and some of the analytics that they do. So just from a culture perspective, it helps us be really fast, really efficient, and get some of this technology over the line. Really makes you think of how we bring this product a little more speed, a little bit more lightness, a little bit more strength.
Okay, I have to ask this. I mean, I'm just like suddenly panicking because I'm like, oh my gosh, gift ideas for the holidays. I better order up soon. I mean, these are available. These are shipping. These are in the marketplace. People are going to be like, okay, how do I get these? Don't say that terrible phrase, chip shortages. This is stuff that's out there. I'm being a little facetious, but this is what a great gift idea this is, and I'm just going down the list.
We need to talk about where these are available real quick, and then we got to rock and roll. I wanted to show the MCL 35M exhaust and engine with the headphones, the earphones on them. McLaren shot this for us in the pits, actually in the garage a couple weeks ago. That's a lot of fun.
That's cool.
Let's talk about where these are available.
Yes.
So both products are available on Klipsch.com and Amazon.com. I would point you there. We have an exclusive launch partner for the ANC product, Klipsch T5 II ANC with worldwide stereo. So love those guys at Worldwide Stereo. They do a fantastic job. Go to worldwidestereo.com and check them out. And then the McLaren ANC product, the special edition, is available at Crutchfield. So you can also get it there. So 4 places for you guys to go and look. I'd point you to any of those reputable dealers.
Yeah, absolutely. And from a customer service perspective, we are standing by. You can always call 1-800-KLIPSCH, I believe, as well as send us a text message. But before you do, open up Klipsch Connect app. It's got a ton of support articles for like simple things to fix, whether, hey, one of my earbuds is, I dropped it, or it's doing something that it shouldn't be doing. How do I fix it? Most of that stuff will make a lot of sense directly through Klipsch Connect. Our customer service team has already put together the support articles, the videos that go along with them. I think a lot of them were voiced by our lovely moderator, Brittany Kelly. So quick shout out to you. And yeah, we're ready.
Well, we got to wrap up, unfortunately, and move on to other things. But I am so looking forward to, it's almost like we need another episode, really, to talk about these.
Why not?
But looking forward to the feedback. We will do our best to answer the questions on all platforms in the chat, and we will make announcements post-show who wins best question. So congratulations in advance to those winners.
And here's a thank you to our guests from our tech partners. Vlad, those guys are great guys. They're so knowledgeable, and thank you for inviting them to join us today. And if, down the road we want to do another with them, let's do it.
Yes.
Yeah, both Matthias and Nikolai just having a really great session with those guys. So thank you for joining us, and everybody around the world, enjoy this product. We are launching it and talking about it. It is super exciting. There's a lot of technology, maybe even another episode worth of technology in this stuff.
Yeah, maybe.
Thanks for joining us, Vlad.
See you next time, everyone.
Cheers. Everybody. Stay safe.
Got right down to the bottom.
Listen to more music and more movies. Have fun.